Sometimes to understand a city, you need to strip off some of the veneer and take a closer look. Central to midway level escalator provides such an opportunity as it cuts through the streets. There you can visit the site of a former prison and understand a little bit more about how the prisoners lived. The opportunity to walk a different neighbourhood, to see a different everyday life, take in the markets, the food shopping and what people do with their leisure time. Look at the various street art and take in the religious significant buildings and their associated ceremonies. That's the only way that you will start to understand a city.
So, good morning and the start to another day. Slightly overcast here in Hong Kong today, and the temperatures have fallen quite significantly from the original forecast, which was somewhere in the 40s, to something just under 30 degrees. So today the idea is to go to Central, which is where we were yesterday, but to then go along the Central and Midway escalators, have a look around there, maybe make it to SOHO, and there's also a temple near there that I'm thinking of trying to visit. But let's see where we get to, because yesterday I think I just did 2 of the 5 things that I was originally thinking that I would try and do, so very different. Anyway, let's make our way to the station, take the MTR and go to Central. Found this little area here, which fountain and some palm trees and some very nice columns. Take a slightly different way to the station than I had previously, but let's have a look and see what this is.
Area around the hotel is a mix of retail and business premises, and very much like you would find in any city. One of the things that I liked about the MTR was that it actually had people in attendance who mainly spoke English, and they actually helped to provide advice and guidance when needed. Not something I'm used to these days in the UK. From the Central MTR, it was a short 10-minute walk to get to the Central and Midway level escalators, and mostly on the flat.
We're at the Central to Midway escalator, waiting for the escalators to change direction. The journey up is somewhat easier by 4 feet as they get very tired by the end of the day.
Believe it, they changed the direction of the escalators at a couple of points during the day. So when I arrived, it was coming down, and at 10 o'clock it changed to going up, which was of course a benefit for me. I couldn't see this working in any other continent apart from Asia. These escalators are the longest covered walkway in the world. They are a necessity in this part of Hong Kong to make transportation easier for all, given the steep hillsides and steps that exist around this area. At regular intervals there are stopping off points where you can either go to a specific location, or you can, just as I did, look at the environment that's around you.
So we're now at the site of the former prison, which is a Victoria prison. It'll be interesting to have a look around here.
The original prison was called Victoria Jail after Queen Victoria and was completed in 1848. It was renamed Victoria Prison in 1899. It was the first and longest running prison in Hong Kong. These days it's reinvented itself as the Tai Kwan Cultural Centre after being formally decommissioned in 2016. It comprises of 3 monuments, obviously the former prison, but also the former police station and the former magistrates' court. At either end of the prison are 2 striking pieces of architecture known as the JC, which I believe stands for Jockey Club Contemporary, and the JC Cube. This area of the prison is the laundry steps. Originally, when the prison was active, it was a connecting point between the central magistrates and the prison yard services. These days it has a stepped plaza design and is a designated area for live performances. It is also a great place to screen movies. To one side of the laundry steps is a very nice cafe area that uses the architecture of the prison to create little outdoor rooms with individual seating. We have now entered the JC Contemporary building with its stark modern architecture. It houses these days a number of exhibitions. The day I went, this was the major exhibition, which was on the top floor of the JC Contemporary. I must admit that watching a man very slowly gyrating his hips in an all-white room really didn't do it for me.
The Victoria prison. A large amount of the exhibits were actually closed for renovation, which is a pity. Apparently there's a guided tour at 2 o'clock. I'll see where I am, whether or not to go back. But some lovely architecture there. Unfortunately not able to see the exhibits that I came to see. So I'm currently at Shelley Street, one place I wanted to see, in some interesting art, very nice area.
This area of Hong Kong is known as SOHO, which means South of Hollywood Road. It has developed into a vibrant area, largely as a result of the creation of the escalators. Lots of bars and cafes for one to hang out and take the world in. So I've now arrived at the Jamia Mosque, which is the oldest mosque in Hong Kong, being built in 1915. It was built on the site of another mosque, which was constructed in around 1849. It provided back in the day a place of worship for the Muslims that came from India. And these were primary merchants, sailors, and also the prison guards and police. It remains a significant place of worship and gathering for the Muslims in Hong Kong.
I went to Shelley Street and went up the central midway escalators to the mosque, but the mosque was closed, so I couldn't get in. Seems to be a bit of the story of today, everything seems to be closed. Having said that, now on my way to the Man Mu Temple. Going down a fairly steep flight of steps to get there.
Descending these stairs, you get a real understanding of why they actually ended up building the central to mid-level escalators in the first place. And again, I passed through some really nice street art on the walls of the houses and the bars and restaurants as I went on down.
So I think this is now the Man Mu Temple. Let's go in and have a look around.
Number of Man Mu temples in Hong Kong. This one on Hollywood Road is known as Shung Wan and was built in 1847. It's a listed monument. This guy was doing some restoration work on the gold statue, applying some gold foil. It was quite different inside to what I'd expected, and I don't really know what I'd expected, but it just wasn't what I imagined a temple to look like. One thing that was fascinating to me is how the individuals interwove, because there was a set of people there that were obviously there for religious reasons, either as part of the temple staff or there to make up an offer. And there were also a large number of people that were there to obviously observe the monument and taking pictures. The temple itself has 3 distinctly different rooms. It has a room that is dedicated to the civil god and also to the god of martial art. It has another room which is for all heavenly gods, and lastly it has an assembly hall where it's used to actually sort out disputes. So this actual temple made an appearance in a Dreamcast and Xbox game, Shenmue 2, and in the game you can explore the grounds and the temple itself. The location that the temple is portrayed in the game is obviously different to real life. And it's out of that room and into the other room that we're actually allowed to go in and to film.
Oh, I absolutely love the Man Moon Temple. Very interesting, very quiet. Lots of people having their own private thoughts and prayers. There were 3 rooms, 2 of which you could film in, and the third, which is the ceremony room, you couldn't. I went in the first 2, and they were really interesting. The silence and the thought process there was quite intense. I'm now on my way to Art Lane and see what that holds. It looked interesting on Google, couldn't see much on YouTube, but I'll go and see what's there.
This area of Hong Kong is just off of Hollywood Road and is known as Upper Lascar Road. It's also more commonly called Antique Street or Cat Street. It has a mixture of antiques and curios from many different cultures and is one of the best places to sort out treasures and as well as the obvious street market elements, there are also antique stores behind them.
As I'm walking to Art Lane, I came across this park, which is the Hollywood Road Park. So let's have a look and see what's there.
So this park is full of traditional Chinese symbols and architecture, such as the gateway, which has the bright red pillars, and the pagodas that you can see here. For a lot of this walk, we've been walking down Hollywood Road and taking short detours off to one side or the other. You might be mistaken for thinking that Hollywood Road is somehow related to the USA Hollywood, but it's not. It's actually named after the Hollywood plant that used to grow along the road.
Nice little detour, nice little park, some koi carp and turtles in a pond, which is very nice. Children's playground if you happen to have a child that wants to play, and most importantly some convenience facilities, which was more than welcome. Right, back to try and find Art Lane.
Art Lane is an interesting place. It was created by a property developer and it has lots of vibrant artwork adorning the buildings, as you can see, and those buildings and the artwork are over probably 2 streets. The area around Art Lane includes some both historic and traditional Chinese temples and also Western churches. There's a mix of traditional seafood shops as well as some very contemporary eating and coffee places. It's an interesting place if you're in the neighbourhood to have a look at and just explore the arts, or take yourself off to one of the nearby art galleries. I was struggling a little bit to find the entrance to the station that was going to take me to Causeway Bay. It appears that on this instance Google was showing the actual location of the heart of the station rather than the individual entrances and exits, which confused me somewhat. Anyway, as I was looking around, I came across this fish market, and underneath it was a market that specialised in vegetables.
I've eventually found Sai Ying station. En route I actually found the market, which was a fresh fish market, which was quite interesting. But now I'm on to a place called Fever Guy, and apparently it's 5 stops down in Causeway Bay. Now Fever Guy sells the type of stuff, as my wife would say, Joanne, that I like. So hopefully I can sneak some stuff in without her seeing.
Taiwan is arriving. Please let passengers exit first.
I found Fever Guy, which was a lovely store full of interesting paraphernalia, my sort of store, sort of gear that I like. That said, I couldn't get the camera bag as new stock in my colourway, but they did manage to sell me the display model, and that was the colour I wanted, which was useful. So making my way back to the hotel, and now probably stay in the room for a short while, then pick up Joanne and go out for a bite to eat. Probably trying something a little bit more local. The meal yesterday was very nice, but it wasn't a local dish. Anyway, let's see what Joanne wants to do. You got there?
Sweet and sour chicken and a prawn, sweet and sour prawn or something, wasn't it?
So,
no, it wasn't sweet and sour.
I think it's sweet and sour chicken and coconut prawns. What did you think of your meal?
Absolutely gorgeous, it was really lovely. You're showing them what's in the soup.
Absolutely chocker with seafood and vegetables.
It comes on a burner thing so it stays nice and hot. It's really lovely.
Yeah, you said it was the best sweet and sour pork you've had.
No, it wasn't pork, it was chicken.
Oh, sweet and sour chicken, alright.
And it was the best sweet and sour chicken I've ever had, yeah. It's lovely.
And I thoroughly enjoyed mine as well. We both had the same thing, so we had the coconut shrimps, the sweet and sour chicken, egg fried rice, and some soup. They all came at once, but it was lovely. The soup was kept hot on a contraption, which had a little flame underneath, but the soup was very spicy, lots of prawns in it. It wasn't too spicy, no, it was lovely. And the sweet and sour chicken and the prawns were lovely. Went down the treat, together with a cider. What more could one want?